So it's day 2, Grizz training camp up in Nashville, and Jock Landale is obviously a big part of this preseason because he's not only a new face, but he's a new face who is likely to start at center on opening night. Let's stop there for a second. Is that an accurate way to put it? Likely to start on opening night?
For sure.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Scottie Pippen Jr. It's a growth spurt. Maybe we'll try him.
Gigi looks pretty tall.
Who else we got?
Right.
I think Gigi grew a little bit.
I mean, I think the thing with Jock Landale, I thought it was interesting when we had Ty Jerome on the other day. One of the things that Ty Jerome said was, I said he had been on like 5 different teams, and then last year he had a really good chance. If it weren't for Peyton Pritchard, he might have ended up being 6th man of the year. Yeah. It's like kind of him and Pritchard and Beasley. He's great. I mean, he was a great bench player on a 60-plus win team. And so I asked him, I was like, did something just click last year? Because one of the things he said in passing, he was like, if you ever looked at the numbers, I was always doing what I was doing. Yeah. Basically, I just wasn't getting minutes, right? And so I said, did something click, or was it as simple as somebody just played me for once? And he said, more the second, right? I say that to say that's what you pray with Jock Landale, right? You hope these guys, they happen all the time in the NBA, right? And it's like, okay, here's a guy that's kind of had these backup roles for these different teams, never really found his spot. Obviously, you liked what you heard on Media Day about how he's like a dream fit for what Isolo wants to do and the kind of the system and everything. And so I think what you pray, obviously, the ceiling is like what happened with a Jerome last year, where it's like, oh, wow, this guy really is good, but he's kind of buried in all these like, whether it was injuries or whether it was the wrong fit or the wrong team, whatever. And so what you pray is, though his minutes have been low throughout his career, like sometimes you find that fit and, you look and I think about it. And again, I'm not trying to put these expectations on the guy. But, if you were to rewind 4 or 5 years, people didn't think Isaiah Hartenstein's going to be the starting center on a title team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Isaiah Hartenstein, it just kept getting better and better opportunities, and then obviously made the most of his opportunity at the Knicks, and then made even more of his opportunity at Oklahoma City. And so I think what you have to pray with Landale is, here is a guy that takes this job like super seriously. Here's your chance, bro. Right? Like, here is your chance.
Hey,
I will say, he has been a guy that when you have given him minutes, he has performed.
Right.
He has. Like, you can go look at it. I mean, you can find it. I mean, I got excited when they signed him because, of course, you fall down the the YouTube wormhole, and it's like, Jock Landale owns Wemby and Jock Landale, right? But I mean, he has performed.
Right.
Like, it's not like, there's a lot of guys in the NBA that what you worry about is like, okay, here are the guys, you give them big minutes, and then they're not giving you the big production, right? Like, most guys in the NBA, if you're going to run them out there 25 to 35 minutes,
they'll do something.
They're going to give you production, right? And if they don't, you've got real concern, i.e., like, you kept throwing Zaire Williams out there, and it was like, you know what I mean? It's an every once in a while type of deal. But like, in a guy, like, also a guy that is, this team needs role players, right? You have the stars, right? Willing role players, guys that are willing to just play their role, and their job is to augment the stars. And so what you've got to hope is you have added those that are like sure thing role players, right? Like whether it is Jerome or whether it is KCP or whether it is or whether it is Landale or some of these others that you have added. And then what you've got, the trick is going to be, can those young guys, figure out how can I star in my role? Like the Wells, the Gigi, and Wells obviously went a long way towards doing that last year, but Wells, Gigi, Vince, all those other kind of guys.
With Landale, it's not always just about getting better. Like, obviously development is important, but sometimes it really is just getting with the right coach who believes in you, who will put you on the court. Like, sometimes it really is the coach that is holding players back. I don't think it's true as often as players say it.
Right.
But it is true sometimes, and I mentioned it sort of in passing, but I want to be specific with it in Drew Hill's story at dailymemphian.com. There's an advanced metric called RAPM. You might be familiar with it. It's not something I study. But it basically tries to measure how much a player helps their team outscore opponents when they're on the floor, adjusting for who else is playing on their team and for the opponent, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Landale's NBA career puts him in the top 5% of bigs in the association.
I'm sold.
Right. Like
Who cares what the stat is?
Right. We don't I don't need to know any more than that. In fact, I don't
even explain to me how it's calculated.
I don't even want to know more than that. I just want to believe
that's right.
that the Grizzlies have signed for less than $3 million all NBA.
Yeah, I will say I did fall in love with him. Number one, I always love Australian guys and their accent. Number two, there was like a video of him that I watched after they signed him, and he's talking about how there was a bunch of guys on the Houston Rockets that weren't going to get to play, right? Like, you kind of knew, like, they weren't like regular rotation guys. He would gather them up after practices and make them play real games.
Right.
Like, he was the guy that, like, pulled it all together. And he was like, look, because just going through practice and then being like the guys that are standing on the sidelines while the other guys are going through it and whatever, it's like, that's not going to get you ready. If they do call your number, you've got to be able to go full speed. You've got to be able to play. And, like, by and large, everybody has unbelievable things to say about him as a locker room guy and as a bench guy there, and kind of being the guy that pulled all that together. And the more people you can get like that in the fold,
you want those people outnumbering the other people.
Yes.
And that's how you build the culture.
Yes.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.